Chapter 1151. It is necessary to avoid the limelight first. Now David has the pagoda of suppression and the map of 9,000 miles of mountains and rivers, so he can practice wherever he is. As long as David's strength is improving, he doesn't have to be afraid of those guys in Kyoto. On the plane to Horindal, David sent a message to Lin Tianhu. When the plane landed at Horindal Airport, Lin Tianhu had already driven to pick up David. In addition to Lin Tianhu, Gu Wenchen and Reuben also came, as well as many prominent figures in Horindal. Almost the entire airport came to greet David. When David got off the plane, he was startled by the scene in front of him. "Mr. Chen." Lin Tianhu hurried forward and bowed slightly. "This goodbye, I haven't seen each other for more than a month, and David hasn't been back to Horindal for several months." "Mr. Chen." Many prominent figures in Horindal came forward and bowed to David. David's face was a little unsightly. He came back just now, not to show off or something, he came to hide, and this time it was so lively, I was afraid that his whereabouts would be known soon. "Lin Tianhu, let these people go away." David quickly got into the car and said to Lin Tianhu. Seeing that David was a little unhappy, Lin Tianhu immediately sent someone to disperse those people. Gu Wenchen and Reuben also got into the car together. The two looked at David and directly showed David to Mao. Although the two did not speak, David understood their eyes. They must have wanted to ask Sonia and Gu Linger why they didn't come back together. David had no choice but to tell Gu Wenchen and Reuben about his current situation. When they heard that David came back to avoid the pursuit, the expressions of the two people changed. "David, how did things get like this?" Reuben was not from the martial arts world, so he didn't know what David did in Kyoto. "Uncle Su, I have to force some things." David didn't want to be what he is now, but his biological mother is still in the Long family, and Sonia is still locked up in the martial arts alliance. What can David do? "Okay, let's go back and talk about it." After Gu Wenchen finished speaking, he asked Lin Tianhu to quickly drive the car back. The group went to Gu Wenchen's yard. As soon as they entered the yard, David saw a yard full of antiques, which shows Gu Wenchen's love for antiques. That guy Jin Fuxian is not bad. He has sent some antiques during this period of time. "David, do you like or use it?" Gu Wenchen pointed at the antiques in the courtyard and said. David glanced at it, then shook his head. His current strength is no longer enough to rely on the weak spiritual energy on these antiques to cultivate. "David, when you return to Horindal this time, I'm afraid you won't be able to hide for a few days, right? Those people will definitely guess that you are here." Reuben asked worriedly. "I'm only staying for 2 days. When I decide where to go, I'll leave right away." David also knew that it was not a long-term solution in Horindal. Those guys in Kyoto will definitely find it here, not to mention the martial arts world in Jiangbei. If they know that they are back, they will also be eyeing them. After all, the dragon crystal on his body is too tempting, and he has to be remembered. "Mr. Chen, I think you can go to Nanhua City to find that Jin Fuxian." At this time, Lin Tianhu said. "Looking for him?" David looked at Lin Tianhu strangely. "Even if I go to Nanhua City, with the power of those sect families in Kyoto, it is easy to find out." "Mr. Chen, I didn't tell you to stay in Nanhua City. Doesn't Jin Fuxian often go to sea? You can get a big boat, prepare living supplies, and stay at sea for a while, so that no one can find you." Lin Tianhu explained. Chapter 1152. Hearing Lin Tianhu's explanation, David's eyes lit up. He can go to sea for a while, and no one can find him in the vast sea, so David can just practice with peace of mind. "Ha ha ha, yes, why didn't I think of that?" David laughed and patted Lin Tianhu on the shoulder. David only stayed in Horindal for 1 day, and then rushed to Nanhua City. The Jin family is the largest family in Nanhua City, and with the strength of Grandmaster Jin Fuxian's peak, he controls the entire Nanhua City's wharf. However, some people are staring at such fat. The Du family, who are also in Nanhua City, have long been eyeing the fat meat at the wharf, but due to Jin Fuxian's strength, the Du family can only watch Jin Fuxian earn a lot of money. However, in order to be able to grab the pier from Jin Fuxian, the Du family spent a lot of money to invite 3 great masters. After the news came out, Jin Fuxian panicked instantly. "Master, what should we do? Now the whole Nanhua City knows that the Du family has invited 3 great masters, and soon the Du family will attack us." The housekeeper of the Jin family said in a panic. Jin Fuxian said with an ugly face, "Where did the Du family invite such a master, not to mention the 3 great masters, even one can wipe out the entire Nanhua City." "Master, why don't we invite the 4 heroes of Nanshan?" the butler asked. "Please use their A55, how could they be the opponents of the great master?" Jin Fuxian cursed. Then what should we do? Now many people in the house are panicking, and some people even sneaked away," the butler said anxiously. Jin Fuxian frowned, but soon his brows stretched out and said, "By the way, if the Du family can invite a master, so can our Jin family. I almost forgot, the man and woman who often follow Gu, seem to be great master." Jin Fuxian was talking about Lin Tianhu and Chi Feng. During this time, Jin Fuxian often sent antiques to Gu Wenshan, and he also met Lin Tianhu and Chi Feng several times. But with only 2 of them, can they beat the 3 great masters of the Du family? The butler asked suspiciously. "Don't worry about it, I'll call and invite people over. Besides, they are all Mr. Chen's people. If they can't be beaten, then invite Mr. Chen." As Jin Fuxian spoke, he took out his mobile phone and prepared to make a call. But at this moment, a servant of the Jin family hurried in. "Master, it's not good, it's not good, Du Ziteng of the Du family brought people to kill, our people can't stop it at all." When Jin Fuxian heard this, his face changed instantly. Of course, the 3 great masters and those from the Jin family couldn't stop them. "Master, I didn't expect the Du family to be killed so soon, why don't you hide for a while?" the housekeeper persuaded Jin Fuxian. "No, I'll go out and see." Jin Fuxian strode towards the outside. He knew that the Du family was not here to kill, and if it really couldn't be done, he would give up some of the benefits of the pier to the Du family. When Jin Fuxian walked into the yard, he saw the servants of the Jin family lying on the ground, and a young man looked at him with a sneer. This young man was Du Ziteng, the young master of the Du family. There were 3 middle-aged people standing behind Du Ziteng, each of whom exuded a faint coercion. Even if Jin Fuxian himself was the peak of Wuzong, he felt frightened by this pressure. "Eldest nephew, what made you so angry? If the servants provoke you, just tell me, and I'll take care of them for you." Jin Fuxian laughed and then said to Du Ziteng. Even though Jin Fuxian was going to die of anger now, he still didn't show any signs of it, which shows that this guy is very shrewd. Chapter 1153. Du Ziteng glanced at Jin Fuxian, but did not show any appreciation, but said coldly, "Jin Fuxian, the wharf in Nanhua City has been occupied by your Jin family for many years. Over the years, your Jin family has made enough money, do you think about it? Let others eat too. There are hundreds of boats in Nanhua City, 90% of which belong to your Jin family. You earn so much money, aren't you afraid of dying?" When Jin Fuxian heard this, his face suddenly became extremely ugly. After all, Du Ziteng was also a junior, so he was so impolite when he spoke to him. Jin Fuxian had a cold face, trying to suppress the anger in his heart. "Eldest nephew, our 2 families." "Stop, I'm not your eldest nephew. Let me tell you, today I'm here to annex your Jin family. If you obediently hand over all the Jin family's property, you may still have a life left." Before Jin Fuxian could finish speaking, Du Ziteng waved his hand and said. This time, Du Ziteng completely tore his face, and Jin Fuxian frowned deeply. "Look at this, I will give you 80% of the property in the dock, and I will also give you all the ships. I will only leave 2 cruise ships. Jin Fuxian discussed with Du Ziteng. Can't I understand what I said? I want all the properties of your Jin family. Du Ziteng said with a cold face. The anger in Jin Fuxian's heart erupted instantly, his eyes widened and he said, Du Ziteng, you are too deceiving, don't you leave a little way for our Jin family to survive? I have been in Nanhua for many years, and I have never said that I will drive out your Du family and kill them all. Ah! I just deceive people too much, what can you do? Do you want me to kill everyone in your Jin family before you are willing to hand over all the property? Relying on the 3 great masters behind him, Du Ziteng was not afraid of Jin Fuxian at all. Even if you kill everyone in our Jin family, you will never get the property of my Jin family. Don't think that if you can find helpers, I won't be able to find them. When my helpers arrive, I will wipe out your Du family. Jin Fuxian gritted his teeth and shouted angrily. Ha ha ha, you are too naive, don't forget that your Jin family is not yours alone, Jin Fuxian. After I kill you, the Jin family's property will naturally be handed over. Du Ziteng laughed, then clapped his hands. Soon, a gentleman wearing a suit and gold wire glasses walked in, looking at the person's appearance, which was somewhat similar to Jin Fuxian. Seeing the person coming, Jin Fuxian was stunned. Second, why are you back? The person here is Jin Fuxian's younger brother Jin Fuwang. Jin Fuxian started his career with one hand, and later sponsored his younger brother to go to college, and then let his younger brother go to the branch to become the general manager. Jin Fuxian didn't understand why his brother suddenly came back at this time. It's just that Jin Fuwang didn't care about Jin Fuxian, but walked up to Du Ziteng and shouted respectfully, "Young Master Du. Now if I hand over the Jin family to you as the head of the family, do you know what to do?" Du Ziteng looked at Jin Fuwang and asked. Of course, I will give all the properties of the Jin family to the Du family, and my Jin family is also willing to rely on the Du family and be an affiliated family. Jin Fuwang said flatteringly. Jin Fuxian, have you heard? Without you, the entire Jin family will be an affiliate of our Du family. Du Ziteng looked at Jin Fuxian proudly. At this moment, Jin Fuxian was almost not mad at his younger brother's words, and his face flushed. Jin Fuwang, you fucking beast, do you know what you just said? Of course I know. You've been in charge of the Jin family for so many years, and you have even more wealth than some big families in Kyoto. What about me? I'm just a general manager with a dead salary. Why? I also want to be the head of the house, and I want to be as rich as earth, with wives and seize your own cub, nest in groups. Jin Fuwang raised his head and shouted at Jin Fuxian. Chapter 1154. Beast, this is the world that I broke into by myself, how can I give it to you? After Jin Fuxian finished speaking, anger rose all over his body, and he punched Jin Fuwang with a punch. He was going to kill this wolf-hearted brother himself. Jin Fuwang was so frightened that he hurriedly hid behind Du Ziteng, while a great master behind Du Ziteng dodged and kicked out. Jin Fuxian was kicked heavily, and then fell to the ground, vomiting blood. Jin Fuxian glared at Jin Fuwang and gritted his teeth, if I die, everything that the Jin family has will not fall into your hands. Whether it can fall into my hands, then I can't help you. At that time, I will say that you died accidentally, and the position of the head of the Jin family will naturally fall to me. And I also know that you have several women outside, all of them are beautiful and good-looking. After you die, I can take care of them for you. Seeing that Jin Fuxian was injured and fell to the ground, Jin Fuwang walked out from behind Du Ziteng with a proud face and said, Beast, beast, you are a beast. Jin Fuxian was trembling with anger, and blood gushed out from his mouth. He never thought that he would end up where he is now. Retribution, this may be retribution. Jin Fuxian looked up to the sky and sighed. He didn't know how many people he killed in his life, and he was able to achieve his current position only with a ruthless heart. But now he is being calculated by his own younger brother, which may be retribution. Kill me, kill me. Jin Fuxian closed his eyes. At this moment, his heart was ashes. Du Ziteng glanced at Jin Fuwang, then handed him a dagger. Go. Jin Fuwang was taken aback, did not dare to take Du Ziteng's dagger, and shook his head again and again. Young Master Du, I dare not. If you don't kill him, it will prove that you are not loyal to my Du family, then I will kill you. Du Ziteng's face turned cold. Jin Fuwang trembled all over. He could only take the dagger tremblingly and slowly walked towards Jin Fuxian. Jin Fuxian looked at Jin Fuwang, who came over and stared at him fiercely. Beast, you're going to die. Jin Fuxian gritted his teeth. Humph, how did I die? You can't see it. After Jin Fuwang finished speaking, he raised his dagger and stabbed at Jin Fuxian. Clang! Just when the dagger in Jin Fuwang's hand pierced into Jin Fuxian's body, there was a sudden sound, and the dagger in Jin Fuwang's hand flew out. Jin Fuwang was taken aback, while Du Ziteng was shocked. Who? The three great masters also hurriedly looked around. I still have business to discuss, you can't kill him for the time being. Following a cold voice, a figure slowly walked into the courtyard. Chen. Mr. Chen. Seeing the person coming, Jin Fuxian looked surprised. He never imagined that David would appear at this time. He was simply a divine weapon. Who are you? Du Ziteng looked at David and asked cautiously. I didn't say it just now, talking about business. David said, walked towards Jin Fuxian, and then pulled Jin Fuxian up from the ground. Chen, Mr. Chen, you are so good, so good. Jin Fuxian was so excited that he started to stutter. If it wasn't for David, he would have become a corpse by now. I'm here to talk to you about some business, renting a cruise ship, and I didn't expect to catch up. David smiled lightly. Mr. Chen, you can use the boat, just give an order, you can choose any boat, why rent it? David is Jin Fuxian's savior at the moment, not to mention David using the boat, even if all the boats are given to David, Jin Fuxian will not hesitate. Chapter 1155. My friend, you can talk to me about the chartering of the boat. In the future, I will have the final say on all the boats of the Jin family. But we have some private matters to deal with now. Please avoid it. It's best not to get involved. Du Ziteng saw that David was here to rent a boat, so he said coldly. David slowly put his eyes on Du Ziteng, and suddenly grinned. You have the final say on the Jin family's ships? Are you the son of Jin Fuxian? David's words made Du Ziteng's face instantly become extremely cold. Boy, I don't think you're here to rent a boat, but to find trouble, so don't blame me for being rude. Du Ziteng squinted his eyes slightly, then waved his hand. You three come on, abolish him. But after Du Ziteng finished speaking, no one moved, so he hurriedly turned around, only to see the eyes of the three great masters full of horror, trembling all over, and the ground was wet. The three people were scared to pee. The moment they saw David, they were scared to pee. Although Du Ziteng is also a martial artist, the Du family is mainly engaged in business after all, and does not pay much attention to the affairs of the martial arts world. The three great masters invited are different. They often pay attention to the martial arts forum, and of course they also know the recent reputation of David. To be able to kill the existence of the directors of the Kyoto Martial Arts Alliance, to kill the three of them, David can make the three of them into flesh just by relying on the momentum that erupted. With such a gap in strength, how could these three great masters not be frightened? What happened to the three of you? Du Ziteng looked at the three great masters who were scared to pee, and asked with a puzzled face. The three people you brought here are really bad. You're scared to pee when you look at them. They stink to death. David sneered, and then said to the three great masters, your master asked you three to do it. Wouldn't you do it with me? After David finished speaking, the three great masters knelt on the ground with a frightened thud. Mr. Chen, spare your life, Mr. Chen, spare your life. The three great masters kowtowed desperately and begged for mercy. Du Ziteng was dumbfounded when he saw this scene, his eyes were full of horror. You must know that any of these three great masters can walk sideways in Nanhua city, and now they are on their knees and begging for mercy. Get out! David looked at the three great masters who were kneeling and begging for mercy in front of him, and waved his hands impatiently. The strength of the great master is now inferior to that of ants in front of David. David was not interested in crushing a few ants. Besides, David is not that kind of bloodthirsty person. The three great masters hurriedly thanked them, turned around and ran away without a trace. Hey hey! Du Ziteng looked at the three great masters who had run away without a shadow, and suddenly panicked. These three people are his support, and now that the people have run away, Du Ziteng has no support. You still don't get out? I tell you, I will cover the Jin family in the future, don't make any more suggestions of the Jin family. David said to Du Ziteng. Du Ziteng shivered, nodded, then turned around and ran away. In the end, only Jin Fuwang was left. He wanted to run with Du Ziteng, but was caught by Jin Fuxian. Jin Fuwang burst into tears and knelt down in front of Jin Fuxian. Brother, I was wrong, please forgive me, forgive me. I was also forced by that Du Ziteng, and I will never dare again. Jin Fuwang hugged Jin Fuxian's thigh, with a lot of snot and tears. David looked at the brothers, turned and walked into the hall. How to solve this kind of thing, David doesn't care, that is his own problem. Jin Fuxian glared at Jin Fuwang, his palm raised high. Brother, please forgive me, forgive me. My parents died early. You brought me up. You are my brother and a relative. I'm wrong. Jin Fuwang begged bitterly. Chapter 1156. Snapped. Jin Fuxian slapped Jin Fuwang's face with a slap and slapped his glasses out. Go away, get out of here, you will no longer belong to my Jin family, and I will not have your brother. Roll. Jin Fuxian trembled and roared. Seeing this, Jin Fuwang got up and ran. Jin Fuxian dragged his tired body into the hall, and at this moment David was sitting on a chair drinking tea. Jin Fuxian stood beside David and did not dare to sit down. Sit down. David said slowly. Jin Fuxian just sat down and sighed heavily, as if he had aged a lot in an instant. To be betrayed by the person closest to you is a big blow to everyone. After a while, Jin Fuxian slowed down a bit, and then asked David, Mr. Chen, when will you use the boat? I will send someone to prepare immediately. Use it early in the morning, you prepare a room for me now, I will rest now. David said. Okay. Jin Fuxian nodded. Wushan, located in the southwest border, has lush green trees all year round and a pleasant climate. However, it is this kind of environment that makes this place in the southwest, poisonous and cultivating rampant. In a natural cave in Wushan, there is an evil cultivator called Tianzhemen, because the martial arts world chases and kills evil cultivators, which makes Tianzhemen move into the mountains to survive. The history of Tianzhemen is not long, but with the help of sorcery, the master of Tianzhemen, Tibetan Qing, has also reached the realm of half-step Wuhao. On this day, at the entrance of Tianzhemen, a person appeared there. As soon as it appeared, several people rushed out from nowhere and surrounded the people. Who are you? Asked a guard in Tianjia Gate. Go and report to your sect master, and say that Zhu Zishan, the leader of the Kyoto Martial Arts Alliance, asks to see you. Zhu Zishan put his hands on his back and said indifferently. When the guards heard it, they turned out to be the leaders of the Martial Arts Alliance. To know that their Tianzhemen followed the Martial Arts Alliance, it was incompatible. The purpose of the establishment of the Martial Arts Alliance is to promote martial arts and eradicate evil cultivators. Aren't you going soon? Zhu Zishan's face turned slightly cold. You wait. A guard shivered in fright and hurried into the hole. At this time, the master of Tianxia sect, Zhang Qing, was practicing the exercises. Around Zhang Qing, countless skulls were flying in the air. Sect master, it's not good, sect master, it's not good. The guard anxiously rushed into the place where Tibetan Qing practiced. Zhang Qing opened his eyes, and then grabbed the guard with a claw. A huge suction force sucked the guard directly in front of Zhang Qing, and Zhang Qing's hand tightly grabbed the guard's neck. How many times have I said that while I'm practicing, don't disturb? Tibetan Qing looked angry. The guard blushed and said with a look of horror, Sect Master, Martial. The Martial Arts Alliance is here. After the guard stuttered, Zhang Qing's expression changed and he let go of the guard. What happened? Tibetan Qing asked. Cough cough cough. The guard coughed, and then said, Leader, there is a person outside, claiming to be the leader of the Kyoto Martial Arts Alliance, called Zhu Zishan. I want to see you. Is he alone? Tibetan Qing continued to ask. Yes, I saw one person. The guard nodded. Zhang Qing frowned. What did he do when he saw me? How did he find this place? Although there is only one person, Tibetan Qing knows the strength of Zhu Zishan. If he really wants to fight, Zhu Zishan can turn Tianzhemen upside down. After hesitating for a moment, Zhang Qing got up and followed the guard out. Now that they have found the entrance of the cave, Tibetan Qing knows that there is no way to hide. Chapter 1157. Zhang Qing followed the guard to the door, and sure enough, he saw Zhu Zishan waiting by himself at the door. Zhang Qing glanced at Zhu Zishan, then winked at the guard beside him. The guard nodded, and immediately thought about the distance. It should be checked to see if there is an ambush in the distance. No need to check, I came alone. Zhu Zishan smiled lightly. I wish the alliance leader, our Tianzhemen have all hid in this cave. Why do you have to kill them all? Tibetan Qing asked cautiously. Zhu Zishan smiled. Who said I came to kill you? I'm just here to talk to you about something. Talk about things. Zhang Qing's face was inconceivable. The dignified Kyoto Martial Arts Alliance leader, follow my Tianzhemen to talk about things. We are evil cultivators. In the eyes of you people, we are an outlier. We are going to be executed. How can we talk about things with us? I said, I'm here to talk about things. If I want to kill you, why should I talk nonsense with you? Even if I came by myself, who can stop me in your Tianxia sect? Zhu Zishan said very arrogantly. However, he has arrogant capital. With his strength, no one in Tianxia sect can match him. Zhang Qing was stunned for a moment, but it was the same after thinking about it, so he made a gesture of invitation. I wish the alliance leader, then let's talk inside. Zhu Zishan strode into the cave with Tibetan Qing, and then went to a hall, where Tibetan Qing asked Zhu Zishan to sit down. Zhu Zishan took a look at the hall. Although it is not large in size, it is well decorated. I wish the Lord, if there is anything, let's talk now. Tibetan Qing asked Zhu Zishan. Zhu Zishan looked at the guards around him and smiled lightly. Master Zhangman, what I said is confidential, so I don't want others to know. When Tibetan Qing heard this, his brows furrowed. If everyone were to be driven out, Tibetan Qing would be a little timid to face Zhu Zishan alone. Zhu Zishan saw Tibetan Qing's thoughts and sneered, Zhangman Master, if I kill you, even if these guards are here, they can't stop me. You all step back. After Zhang Qing heard this, he waved his hand directly, causing all his subordinates to retreat. After everyone retreated, Zhang Qing looked at Zhu Zishan. Zhu Alliance Lord, can you say it now? I'm here this time to find you to kill someone. Zhu Zishan said. Murder. Zhang Qing was stunned for a moment, and then laughed. I hope the leader will stop joking. If you want to kill people in the Kyoto Martial Arts Alliance, do you still need to find me? Is it possible that the leader of the alliance wants to use me to kill people, and finally arrest me to pave the way for your own career? Tibetan Qing is not stupid, there are people in the Kyoto Martial Arts Alliance who are more powerful than him. What's more, they are evil cultivators, and Zhu Zishan came to find him to kill. Isn't he afraid of being known by other sects and aristocratic families? A martial arts alliance leader cooperated with Xieshu, which is great news. Therefore, Tibetan Qing thinks that Zhu Zishan just wants to use him, and after he kills someone, Zhu Zishan is catching himself in order to establish his merits. Master Zhangman, you misunderstood, it's just this person, I can't do it myself, so I want to ask you to do it. Zhu Zishan explained with a slight smile. You're not good at doing it. There are so many sects and noble families in your martial arts alliance. Can you just find someone? You just found me. If you say there is no conspiracy, who would believe it? Let's not talk about this. Tibetan Qing has a firm face, he will not kill for Zhu Zishan. Zhu Zishan's face was slightly cold, and then he looked at Zhang Qing. Master Zhangman, it's rare that you don't think about it. No, even if you wash my blood today, I won't be used by you. After Tibetan Qing finished speaking, he was ready for the challenge. Chapter 1158. What if it's an order? You don't listen. Zhu Zishan got up slowly, his eyes were cold. Order. Zhang Qing snorted coldly, I'm not from your martial arts alliance. What qualifications do you have to order me? Am I not eligible? Zhu Zishan sneered, slowly took out a token, and then flashed it in front of Tibetan Qing. When Zhang Qing saw the token, the whole person was stunned for a moment, and his eyes were wide open. This is... Tibetan Qing opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but Zhu Zishan stopped him with a gesture. You Tian's Hemen are so hidden, you don't think about it. Why did I find it so easily? Zhu Zishan's face was full of pride. Now, can you listen to my orders? At this time, Tibetan Qing has not woken up from the shock, but he still bowed his head. This subordinate leads the order. Okay, I have the information about the person you want to kill here. Regardless of whether you can kill him or not, you are not allowed to mention my name, just treat it like I have never been here, understand? Zhu Zishan took out an envelope and threw it on the table. Follow your orders. Tibetan Qing said respectfully. Zhu Zishan left, and Tibetan Qing picked up the envelope and opened it. There was a photo inside, it was David. Zhang Qing just glanced at it and put the envelope away, but at this time, he was still in shock. The leader of the Martial Arts Alliance actually has another identity. On the Martial Arts Forum, there were suddenly many posts looking for David's trace. Moreover, the amount of the reward is larger than the other, and some people even use various medicinal herbs and resources in exchange for David's whereabouts. This time, almost many people in the martial arts world have been looking for David's whereabouts. Even some innate warriors, grandmasters, and the like, also inquired everywhere. Now David has become a fragrant bun. At this time, in the hall of the Dong family in Kyoto, Dong Lakun, the head of the Dong family, was sitting on a chair, while Dong Jiahao was standing beside him. Jiahao, I heard that you have a good relationship with that David, do you know where he is? Dong Lakun asked. Dad, what are you asking about? Are you also interested in the treasures on David's body? Dong Jiahao asked. Damn, we don't have any treasures in the Dong family, how can I do such a thing? Dong Lakun's face turned cold, and Dong Jiahao's body trembled in fright. I just admire this David and want to meet him. This person is a rare talent. Dong Lakun's eyes showed envy. If you can have half of David's talent, our Dong family will be hopeful. Dad, I've worked really hard now. Dong Jiahao rolled his eyes, then continued, I don't know where David is during this time, but I can ask. So many people are looking for him, it must have been hiding. Well, ask carefully. If you can find that David, you can bring him home. In our Dong family, I don't think there are a few people who would dare to break into our Dong family's dignitaries. Dong Lakun said lightly. Okay, I'll go and find out. Dong Jiahao nodded and then walked out. After Dong Jiahao left, the housekeeper beside Dong Lakun immediately leaned into Dong Lakun's ear and whispered a few words. Dong Lakun's expression changed slightly. So, the news is really spread by that kid from the Ning family. Yes, although Ning Ji used his signature, I still found out that Ning Ji was injured, most of which was what David did. It seems that the Ning family has long known the secret of Long Jing on David. And I also found out that David once followed Ning Ji and northwest Wang Gu Kaiwan to Suolong Island, but now Gu's house is in ruins, Gu Kaiwan is dead, and Ning Ji is no match for David, so he spread the secret. The purpose is to make David the target of public criticism, let everyone pay more attention to David, and then assassinate him. The butler said quietly. Chapter 1159. Well, this kid from the Ning family is really insidious. He is much stronger than the family. We have to work hard to find that David first. Dong Lakun's eyes narrowed slightly, and there was a glint in his eyes. Master, do you really plan to find David, let him stay at Dong's house, and we give shelter? You really don't want the dragon crystal on David's body? The butler asked. Shelter him? Dong Lakun's mouth twitched, that David offended the martial arts alliance and the Long family, and now it has almost caused the entire martial arts community to hunt down. How can our Dong family have the strength to protect him? You also know Jiahao's temperament. I don't say that. How can he go to find that David? When I find that David, I will get Long Jing first. As for David's life and death, even if I don't kill him, I believe he will not live long. I'm still smart, the butler immediately flattered. Above the vast sea, a luxurious cruise ship floats on it. On the huge cruise ship, except for some staff, only David was alone. David locked himself in the room and began to practice continuously. If nascent soul could be cultivated a few years ago, David would be sure to rescue his mother and Sonia. It's just that it is extremely difficult to cultivate the nascent soul. At the nascent soul stage, he almost has an immortal body. As long as the nascent soul does not die, even if the body is destroyed, it can still reshape the body. At the nascent soul stage, he can almost become an immortal in the eyes of ordinary people. At this time, in the control room of the cruise ship, several staff members were chatting. Because the cruise ship floats on the sea, they don't need to operate anything, just eat, sleep, and chat casually every day. Anyway, there are wages, and the wages are particularly high, so these staff are also very happy. Xiao Mao, what do you think the boss thinks? With such a big cruise ship, just pulling one person and floating on the sea all day without leaving, isn't this cruise ship a waste? Don't talk about it, maybe people have already paid for it, or even bought the cruise ship. We just need to punch in at work to earn money. That's right, it's so easy. It's just floating on the sea all day, but don't encounter pirates. I heard that the pirates of Skull Island are very cruel, and they roast people directly. Stop talking nonsense. It's all a lie. Where is the Skull Island? I've been running for so many years, and I haven't encountered a pirate. Just as several staff members were chatting, several speedboats suddenly appeared on the sea around the cruise ship. The speed of the speedboat is very fast, and behind each speedboat there is a white spray. Seeing that several speedboats were about to hit the yacht, I saw several figures jumping up from the speedboats. On a cruise ship more than 20 meters high, a few people jumped onto the deck without any tools. If the staff saw this scene, they would definitely drop their jaws. These people were all wearing black clothes, and on the left chest of the clothes, they all had a skull pattern embroidered. After getting on the cruise ship, several people went straight to the control room. With one kick, the door of the control room was opened, and several staff members were brought under control. Seeing that someone suddenly broke in, especially seeing the clothes of several people, several staff members were trembling with fright. Because they had heard that the pirates on Skull Island wore this kind of clothes. They didn't believe it just now, but now seeing these pirates really appear in front of them, They were all shocked. "How many people are on your boat? Gather them all on deck for me." A pirate with a red skull on the left chest yelled at a staff member. The staff member's legs were so frightened that if someone hadn't carried it, he would have slumped on the ground long ago. Chapter 1160. Big Brother, our cruise ship has only one passenger, and counting our staff, there are only 15 people. The staff member stammered. Snapped. I saw that the pirate gave the staff a slap in the face. Paralyzed, who are you kidding? With such a big cruise ship, one passenger goes to sea. The pirate obviously didn't believe it. The staff was slapped with blood, and said with a look of grievance, "Brother, really, there is really only one passenger. If you don't believe me, you can go check it out." Seeing this, the pirate winked at the other pirates, who went straight to check. Soon, all the staff were rushed to the deck. At this time, David was practicing cross-legged in a room. Bang! Suddenly there was a loud noise, and the door was kicked open. David suddenly opened his eyes, and before David could move, 2 bright knives were already on David's neck. "Don't move, if you move, you will be hacked to death." David glanced at the people who came in. All of them were wearing black clothes, and the breath on their bodies was exuding, all of which were the strength of the master. Originally, David wanted to do it, but he felt that these 2 people were just little masters, so David gave up the plan to do it. He knew that these people were definitely not here to find him. After all, no one would send 2 people with the strength of the Grand Master to find him. Isn't that the same as being sent to death? "2 big brothers, who are you? What do you want? Just tell me, as long as you don't hurt me." David pretended to be afraid and asked. "We are the pirates of Skull Island. When it falls into our hands, you will consider yourself unlucky." After one of the pirates finished speaking, he picked up David and went to the deck. "Hey, there's really only one passenger." After reaching the deck, a pirate said to the pirate with a red skull on his chest. Looking at the dozen or so trembling people in front of him, the pirate with a red skull on his chest frowned. "Damn, it's really bad luck." After cursing, he said, "Just this few people, take them all back." "Head, these guys are all ordinary people, and there is no martial artist. I wonder if the boss will not get angry after returning." A pirate asked cautiously. "Let's go back and talk." The pirate with a red skull on his chest waved his hand impatiently. Soon, the cruise ship started and drove in the direction of the sun. David and the others were locked in the same room again, and the staff inside were trembling with fright, and some were still crying. Only David looked indifferently at the boundless sea outside the window. David did not understand why he was a pirate because of his strength as a master. Although the strength of the master is nothing in the martial arts world of some big cities, it is also very powerful in some small cities of the 3rd and 4th tiers. Just like Nanhua City and Horindal, although the economy is developed, there are not many warriors in the martial arts world, and there are even fewer masters. The strength of the master goes to such a small place, it is also respected. How can he go to the sea and become a pirate? I can't remember how long it took to drive, and slowly a small island appeared in everyone's field of vision. I saw that this small island is not large, there are bare stones everywhere, and almost no plants can be seen. After getting close, David and the others were driven to the speedboat and then sailed to the island. On landing on the island is full of animal skeletons that can be seen everywhere, scattered everywhere. However, among these skeletons, David keenly discovered that there are still many human skeletons. It's just that the bones are missing the skull. And this small island has a thick bloody smell.